Hello everybody and welcome to this tutorial series, Architecture Interior Design Modeling with Shapr3D. In this video I will show you how we set up profile sketches and model the decorative trim details for doors, windows and floors. Before we get started, let's make sure our scene is set up correctly. Units should be in inches, either fractional or decimal, and we want to make sure that all our snapping targets and guides are turned on. I cleaned up the scene a little bit, gave everything names, so this is much easier to read now. Great. Now we can create our first profile sketch. Let's take a look at the profiles, how I created those. They're actually very easy to do in Shapr3D. You can see here, this is just 0.75 inch, half an inch, and an arc. It's also why it's so useful to have the grid turned on, because I can model along the grid very easily. Those I will set horizontal, vertical. I don't know how long this will be. And I know here I would like to have an arc. The arc has a start and an end point. I can push this to there. Very good. And you see now the midpoint is outside. Now this point, move it actually on this edge and you will see lower left or to the left of the lock icon, there is the coincident constraint. So now this arc center point is glued onto this line. Perfect. This point now I can drag onto this end point, select both tangent and then specify this 0.5, 0.75 and move everything cleanly on the grid. Easy as that. Let's remove this. Let's take a look at this piece. I will select it, make a copy and move it to the side. And let's zoom in and see what we have here. This is a very elegant and well-flowing S-curve. How did I do this? For this, we will use the spline type. There's actually a nice trick to do this or process. Again, that's also why we want to have all our guides and snapping turned on. So check out what happens. With the pencil, I start drawing from here and move my pen down. And you see there is a magenta guideline. It's right under this point. Press. Then I go to the target point. It memorized it and I go up. You see the guideline. Press. And along the guideline, I go down to the end. Now actually, this curve, when I move the points up and down, always terminates tangentially to the endpoints. Let's give this a proof. There and there. Tangent. You see, the point didn't move. The idea of tangency is that I cannot really move this point left and right. Of course, in this case it did. This line was actually not set to be horizontally constrained, and I lock it. So here, I cannot move it left and right. Only goes up or down. Cool. The traditional way also was to have guidelines. So coming down, oh, that's the wrong curve. There, coming down, press, go to here, press, select those, lock them, then tangent, tangent, and then I can adjust those as I want. I mean, this works too, but if I can simply save myself these two lines, it's a few steps, I'm simply saving. Look how easy this is. Much faster. Same result. Perfect. Let's delete this. And this is also the way how I modeled then the profile for the door and window decorative trim. Here in this case, however, the points are not lined up. See how beautifully the snapping works. It's on purpose a little bit outside. Very good. Okay. So, how do we do the baseboard and the wood floor? That's actually the next interesting topic. Because if we want to model architecturally correct, there's a gap between the baseboard and the wood floor. The wood floor and the baseboard also rest on the subfloor. It makes sense actually to model the wood floor first. So let's turn on our plan view, and all this I turn off for the moment. So here is my space for the room inside the space in the wall where the bifold doors would be, the closet, and the door. There are two ways how to build this actually with the offset. Now inside the door actually, left and right, the wood floor is actually as wide as it is because the door frame sits on the wood floor. But inside the room, the baseboard does not sit on the wood floor. So one approach would be, I model this up by 1/2 inch. This is based on a material sample I have of 1/2 inch thick hardwood floor. So this dimension has to be matching the type of floor height you're going to use. And I said that this actually remains where it is, but this has to go back 1/2 inch. So there are various ways how we can do this. So we go move this simply 1/2 inch. And move this 1/2 inch. And you see, works actually pretty good. I bring this over to here. There. Again, snapping is actually really helpful. There we are. The same then here. Sometimes it's easier to simply stop the click and then you see the widget is recentered, or I just drag the widget to where it needs to be. There we are. Very nice. And 1/2 inch. Other possibility would be I select a face. You see now there is a dimension. Okay, 1/2 inch, this has to be reduced, means this will be 47. This will be 131. This will be 47.5. So you can see this is actually fairly fast. We have here 131. 47, 26.5, same here, and here, this 2, 138. Maybe this one too, 138.5, because we have to adjust for the other 1/2 inch here, 138, and here now 26. Okay, good. That was actually not that complicated, but it was moving a lot of edges. So we will call this one hardwood floor. Very good. Let's organize this, move it out to here, and we will hide it. So let me show you what a different approach would be. So I have this sketch. I could also go into the sketch mode and see, can I do an offset? So I could, based on how I sketched everything, make an offset by 1/2 inch, by 1/2 inch, by 1/2 inch, and then I would go later in and via trimming clean all the stuff up. Actually here, this one line I keep. This is gone. 1/2 inch. So in this way, we simply do it there. Here we have to draw in a connection line. There, very nice. Let's go ahead. There, this goes, this stays. Zack, zack. 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch. Half and half. Clean this up. What's nice about this is I can, inside the sketch, actually see what I'm having. And the last element then that's left, I also here need to add these lines to make the extrusion actually more logical. Okay, there and there. Here I'm missing my line. There we are. Very good. So, with this done, now I can go ahead and say U, plus this one, this, inside the door, there. Okay. And this we bring up 1/2 inch. Which way you prefer to use, this is really up to you. But you see, they are both actually work intensive. I always prefer having very simplistic sketches because it makes adjusting a sketch much easier, and I do, like here with the offsetting, everything with the I will do everything with the faces. Not faces, I mean the solid modeling commands. Good. Okay. One last other aspect to say too, just FYI, this is also something that's very good to know. This is the other method. You see, I'm selecting all these edges at the same time. Because this is a very simple model. Very good. So, I think we can also include those. Let's see. Yeah, we can. Okay, so we selected all these edges. You might have noticed not inside the door. So this one goes. And with this offset face command now, I can actually expand or shrink. So if, for example, the gap at one point is too big or too small, I can adjust this easily. So I'll make this on purpose really big so you can see what's happening. Look at that. Isn't it amazing? So with this tool, as you can see, it's not really necessary to be that specific with the sketch because we can extrude it out flush to the wall, and then we use the offset face command to shrink the whole selection a little bit. Very good. Okay. So I will remove all this. Very good. And to make things a little bit cleaner, I will simply redo my steps till the offset tasks are done. There we are. Very good. When we take a look at the subfloor now, and then we take a look at the walls, there you can see this is perfect. Yeah. Very nice. And by modeling it this way, we can then also very accurately, for example, plan out how much lumber we need. And is the room long or deep enough so we don't have to cut the wood in wasteful manners. So with the hardwood floor done and everything else, let's go back to our profiles. And we'll take a look at the baseboard. I will not copy this sketch and position it. I will do another very well working trick. I make myself a copy of solid. Select it. Move it to somewhere here. I will rotate it 90 degrees. Very good. Then with translate, I move this right on this edge. Move this to the main design. Don't need to give this a name right now. Okay. Let's verify. Well, there's a tiny gap. Now, so if this gap, for example, is too small, in this case, probably it also is, with the offset command, we could expand it easily. There's my subfloor. And there's my exterior wall. Beautiful. Okay. So I would like this profile to run around my walls inside the room. And we will encounter a specific problem. Let me show you. So we select sweep, this edge, very good. And then I select this edge. And what's happening? You see the sweep command works well. The result is actually correct. It's not really what we want because it goes actually through the walls. Why is this happening? Well, the interior and the exterior walls are separate. That's why. But I don't want to join them. Okay, let's take a look at the sketch. Maybe it works here. And it will not. And then I will show you how we will solve this issue with another very smart modeling trick. So sweep, select this, and we end up with the same issue. Why? Well, this is one long line. It doesn't break. So I could, for example, simply say you sweep along this edge and this edge, and yeah. And that makes, based on the sketch, sense. That's the way how the lines are drawn. But that's not really what I want. Okay, so how do I get what I want? And this is easy as pie. Zack, zack, zack. Select this. Select this. This here, I mean. And this one. Very nice. And we want to deselect this line. And this foundation we extrude down. Now this is actually one object, and because it is one object, it allows me now to select this, go to sweep, click on this edge and zoom out, and there you see where it stops. Beautiful. Ta-da! So easy. Very good. Now here I have this tiny profile. This I will hide. I will rotate it 90 degrees. Then translate. To there. Yep. Sweep again. There we are. And oops, wrong one. Then do one last snap. Be careful also how you snap, not that from a distance you use the wrong corner. There we are. And then we go Tools, Sweep, select this, and sweep it along this. Very good. Now this was a sample piece or profile piece. I delete it, I don't need it anymore. Also this we can remove, and this too. There are 3 baseboard pieces. I would like to put them into a group. And then this group we call baseboard. Let's take a look at the rest. And there we are. These tiny architectural details really in visual presentation are what makes everything stand out so much. Now I have actually not swept the profile around these corners. This could be done, but this is actually closet, so it would be a waste of material. Plus, there are also bifold doors in front. So in this case, it would not be logical to move this behind. Maybe in the inside if one wants. So we could, for example, then let's see how this could work. So if we want to rebuild a piece, and just do the same as we did before. So 180. Bring this into the space. And there. Now I will hide this, hide the exterior wall, we'll hide the sketch. Bring this a little bit closer, transform, translate. So you from this corner, there. Very good. And I will hide my subfloor, my wall. I will show my hardwood floor. And this we will try to sweep along this edge, this edge, this edge. And you notice now, can actually also use the hardwood floor, including the offset to it. So the foundation modeling trick I showed you before is just one way if you want to do it. So this goes into the baseboard. And this is our template piece. Very nice. And this then basically sums up how we can model the hardwood floor, including various ways to create an appropriate offset, and then how we can create the baseboard. The only thing which would be missing to bring this video to an end, I will then show this process and you can finish it, because based on everything what we covered so far, you know the steps already. So also here I will try to bring this in somewhere into my view. There we are. I hide my sketches. I hide my all this stuff, the subfloor, but the hardwood floor and the baseboard I will keep. Now this I would like to get very close to there. Okay. Then via the transform, translate, we line this up with the bottom there. So this is flush now. And as you can see, it sits actually inside the hardwood floor. Not good. Not a big deal. We simply select it. The hardwood floor is 1/2 inch high. So if we want to be razor sharp, we move this up 1/2 inch. Technically speaking, it's not necessarily, or there's a tiny gap in between for it to breathe and slide. Here, maybe let's say 0.55. Yeah, very good. Very nice. So, and then, yeah, same process as always. We will sweep, and I can select whatever edge I want to use. And then add the shoe molding. There. Okay. And the shoe molding on this side and then this side you can do on yourself, since we covered this. And this is then everything about how to create these architectural details.